Hello students, today we are going to learn Chapter 7, Conservation of Plants and Animals. Students, do you know what do you mean by conservation? So what is conservation? Conservation is a term used to describe the careful and sensible use of natural resources. The Earth's natural resources include air, water, soil, minerals, fuel, plants and animals. So students, in this chapter, we will study about their conservation, that is the practice of caring for these resources so that all living things are benefited from them now and in the future. So children, do you know in the past India was covered with large areas of forest, but as population increased over the years, more and more land was occupied by humans. Do you know children that forests are of utmost importance to the existence and well-being of living organisms on earth? What are the importance of forest? Or you can say some of the important functions of forest. What are the functions of forest? They provide habitat for various plants and animal species. They control the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. They regulate the climate of a region. They prevent soil erosion. They provide useful products and many more things. So, don't you think that forests are of utmost importance to us? Of course, it is very important to all the living organisms. So, we should conserve our natural resources. So students, here we are going to start the chapter with deforestation, its causes and its consequences. Children, as we have learned that forest is very important for all living organisms, as it is covered with trees and plants. They are essential for the well-being and survival of mankind. Today, a major threat to survival of these organisms is deforestation. So what do you mean by deforestation? Deforestation is the process of clearing away forest by cutting and burning them. Or in simple way you can say that it is the clearing of forest and using the land for other purposes. So what are the causes of deforestation? Why the trees are being cut down? Why do these people clear the forest? They clear the forest to make way for farming or to obtain some product for their own development. So what are the causes of deforestation? First, that is procuring land for cultivation. Procuring land for cultivation, that means forest trees are cut down to obtain more agricultural land for cultivation of crops to feed the increasing population. As population increases, need for land also increases. So, they start cutting the trees. They start clearing the forest so that they can grow the crops over there. Second, building houses and factories. As the population increases, as there is increase in population, the need for land also increases. They have to build their house. They need shelter. For that reason also, the people start cutting the trees. They cut down to build homes, factories, roads, dams, etc. Third, you can see they also start cutting trees for making various products. That means such as paper, for making paper or for obtaining that product, they used to cut trees. Another thing, they used to cut the trees for wood, for making doors, windows, etc. For this reason also, they start cutting the trees. So this, all the three, that is by human activities. The deforestation, that is caused by human activities, procuring land for cultivation, building house and factories, making various products. That means we are responsible for deforestation. The fourth one, that is natural causes. Deforestation occurs, or it has been caused by, it is caused naturally. Naturally means due to volcanic eruption, acid rain, drought, flood, etc. So that is caused naturally. But what is in our hand? We can conserve it. We can at least protect our forest. But due to increase in population and need of land, people start cutting the trees. So students, our next topic, that is consequences of deforestation. Deforestation has an adverse effect on the environment. Environment, that is Paryavaran. Deforestation increases the temperature and pollution level on the earth. It increases the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Even the groundwater level also gets lowered. That means it is also being reduced. Moreover, here you can see there will be increased chance of natural calamities such as floods and drought. So here you can see that due to deforestation, various living organisms and the environment are being affected. Now what are the consequences here? The first one here you can see, that is global warming. Now children, you have learned about photosynthesis, the process of photosynthesis, in which the plant use carbon dioxide to prepare their food. But if fewer trees will be left due to deforestation, then less carbon dioxide will be used up. This will result in the increased amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. A possible consequence is global warming, as carbon dioxide traps the heat rays reflected by the surface of the earth. That means here you can see lesser carbon dioxide used by the atmosphere. That means increased amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Increased amount of carbon dioxide, that means the temperature increases in the atmosphere. Now here you can see, as the temperature increases in the atmosphere, you can see the second point, that is disturbance in water cycle. That means due to global warming, as the temperature increases, you can feel the disturbance in water cycle. So the second point, the consequent increase in temperature on the earth disturbs the water cycle. This leads to decrease in rainfall that lowers the groundwater level and could cause drought. That means increase in temperature that can also affect water cycle in the atmosphere. The third point, that is soil erosion and desertification. Children, you have learned about soil erosion. What is soil erosion? Soil erosion means the removal of the top layer of the soil by the action of wind and water. Children, you have learned that the roots hold the soil together, or it binds the soil together. That you have learnt in your previous class. But here you can see, when the forest trees are cut, there are no roots and the bare topsoil becomes loose and erodes quickly. This results in more soil erosion. Even here you can see deforestation, that also leads to the change in soil particles. Even the physical properties of the soil get affected by plantation and vegetation. So here you can see, that means due to deforestation, the soil is also being carried away by the wind and water, by the action of wind and water. So what is desertification? Desertification, that is the gradual conversion of fertile humid soil into dry waste land. Fertile humid soil, that means here you can see desertification. The forest soil is moist, which supports the growth of wide variety of plants and useful microorganisms. But due to soil erosion, here you can see the lower layers of the soil get exposed, which are less fertile and do not support the growth of the vegetation. Thus, due to deforestation, this land gets converted into barren land or waste land, and this gradual conversion of fertile humid soil into a dry waste land is called desertification. Even you can see the continued soil erosion that can convert the land into a desert. Next point, that is flood. Floods are also being caused due to deforestation. Children, you know that the roots of forest trees help in absorbing the rainwater and make it percolate into the ground. Percolate means filter into the ground. But due to deforestation, there is decrease in the water holding capacity of the soil. Therefore, the movement of water from the soil surface into the ground is reduced. That means infiltration rate, that is being reduced, and that results in flood. That means excess water overflowing from the banks of the rivers into the adjoining area. So that flood is also being caused due to deforestation. Next point, that is loss of habitat. What do you mean by habitat? Habitat means the place where living organisms live. So plants and animals, their habitat is the forest. Here you can see about 70% of Earth's land, animals and plants live in forest. The most drastic impact of deforestation will be the loss of habitat for millions of these plants and animal species. Species means a group of closely related organisms that are very similar to each other. They are termed as species. Even you can see it may lead to the extinction of many of these species. Extinction, that means वो पूरी तरह खत्म हो सकते हैं. It can extinct from the world. That means that species can extinct from the world due to deforestation. So children, here we have come to the end of today's class. In our next class, we are going to learn about conservation of forest and wildlife. Thank you.